Hello everybody, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I'm here to bring you the message Ascension energies for Twin Flames for the week of February 10 to the 17th. Okay, well, this is also, I think, my first broadcast for the year, and I'm back, and it was difficult for me to give readings because really January packed a punch. And it wasn't just for me, it was practically for everyone that I came across with. Okay? Well, because January brought so much loss and death in personal lives and in the global forefront. Okay, we had the Australian bushfires. We had here in my country, I don't know if you've heard, but we've had a volcanic eruption. The smallest volcano in the world, which is Taal, erupted. And, some of my countrymen are still reeling from that. Thank you so much for your messages of concern, by the way. While I am far away from the site, a lot of ashfall, it rained ashfall, a couple of inches thick, and it was covering my balcony, and everybody had to wear masks, and and now we have to wear masks again because of the coronavirus. Okay, and apart from that, January brought also locusts in Kenya, swarms of locusts, so it's kind of like the plague. And speaking of plagues, China has been hit real hard by disease. Okay, you all know coronavirus now in several countries, more than 25 countries worldwide, and I've been following it up closely because I like watching movies about pandemics. Seen outbreak, contagion. I don't know. It just I just get so curious, and now there's one unfolding in front of my eyes. Okay, so I keep I just keep staying abreast of recent developments, and now, officially there are around close to 40,000 confirmed cases and 800 plus deaths on the official count. But there are lots of whistleblowers right now because, China, communist state, censorship. If you've ever been to China, you know that there's it's very hard to go on social media there. It's practically not allowed. You just have WeChat and Weibo, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's their version of Twitter. So now they're clamping down on news, okay, because they don't want to lose face in front of the Western world. That's basically the brunt of it. They don't want to appear weak. Because they are a superpower. They're a member of the G5. Okay, but the thing is, in some leaked numbers, we have as much as 154,000 confirmed cases because this company, Tencent, accidentally leaked data, and they say there are over around 25,000 dead. But there's another whistleblower that's giving bigger numbers because according to the stats of the crematoriums, especially in Wuhan, they're operating like 24 hours a day, and they're burning. All of the 49 crematoriums in Wuhan are burning around 1,200 bodies. So, given that statistic, then there must be more than what is just reported. So, this is concern to everybody because now practically because of flights, okay, traveling, borders are down. Well, now they're back up again. But prior to that, before we knew that there was something that was very concerning in the form of the novel coronavirus, They didn't know because basically sometimes they're asymptomatic, but it escalates rapidly in as much as 2 weeks. And even a whistleblower there in China, the Dr. Li Wenliang, who thought it was initially SARS, uh, he contracted the virus and he died. And if you've ever watched Outbreak, Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo, I think it was in the 90s. It's just like that. Also Contagion. Yeah. And there's also this, and this, like I said, the data on the crematoriums burning bodies more than that's being reported, supported by satellite images. Just go on Twitter and hashtag coronavirus, and you're going to see that, I think infrared satellite images show that there is much more activity in Wuhan in burning organic matter, and they were measuring the gas that was a byproduct of burning organic matter in the air, which supports that whistleblower's contention. And another one, because of censorship, there's another whistleblower missing. He's a citizen journalist, and he was reporting from inside Wuhan, and he was saying that none of the major media outlets were there on the ground. Okay, reporting about what it was really like to be a resident in Wuhan, to have a cough, a slight fever. So there are lots of people in Wuhan that are wanting to get medical attention, but then the hospitals just don't have enough kits, enough personnel, enough bed space to accommodate them. So instead, they go on self-quarantine, and then what happens is that they infect family members, those around them. So the official count, really, it can't be trusted as of now, because there are lots of cases that go unreported. Okay, it's like the U.S. really having an official tally of those who are illegal aliens in the country. There's an estimate, but they can't get it down to the last number. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: prayers are needed for the people of Wuhan. They're battling with this disease, with the isolation, and with containing it. Plus, they don't have a voice to call out for help on social media. And as you know, their country won't even accept help from other countries because it's seen as a political move. So that's what's going on. Do follow closely for updates. Here in the Philippines, masks are selling off the shelves, and masks were selling off the shelves prior to that because we had the ash fall and everybody wanted N95 masks. And there were some unscrupulous beings that were charging double, triple the rate for masks, or even hoarding them. And now we need these masks also for health reasons, but because of the coronavirus. Okay, so don't be complacent, because number one, you don't know the people who have been in contact with those who face you. Okay, and this is not spread fear, but just to make you aware, because the virus is confirmed to be airborne. So all you need is 6 feet. Okay, and sometimes because each person, so it's like the route of STDs. Okay, you don't know each person that you have had contact with, who their partners were. In the same breath, you don't know if they have been in contact with someone who's symptomatic, because usually that's the case. Okay, especially in other countries wherein those who have confirmed, now they call it NCP. Okay. Have not been to Wuhan, or have not been in direct contact with other people who have come from Wuhan. So it is spreading. And I don't think this news should be suppressed, so that people can take adequate precaution. Okay, and even after that, okay, they haven't even finished the coronavirus. They haven't resolved that, and now there's bird flu. Okay, it's the H5N1. There's bird flu also in China, and I don't know. They have to slaughter lots of chickens, geese, and all that, so that it won't spread, because that's all zoonotic, which means it can be spread from animals to persons. Okay, and then part of this rampage of loss, have been so much death. Okay, just last month, almost everybody I talked to for some reason had a cousin that died, a father that died, and so many wakes were being scheduled in January that I've lost track. So on a personal level, then again, there's also on the other scale, you've heard of this shooter, this soldier that went on a rampage in Thailand. So much loss and death in this January, but I mention that because it's important to really integrate this information, what's going on with our planet, with the Ascension energies now. Because I understand that some Ascension reports, they just deal with what's happening in the grid on the etheric level, which I will delve into. But then again, there is a lack of integration on how that is manifesting here in our planet. And this needs to be understood by light workers, by twin flames, by star seeds, because we have to know how to support our planet and ourselves given this stage of growth. Okay? And now we go to energies this February. Okay, January seemed to be a clearing. It's like a purging on a massive scale, like in Australia, billions of animals died, and now, yeah, I don't know if I forgot to mention, because the whistleblower said almost there are 1 million, 1.5 million confirmed cases, and over, I don't know how many deaths, but possibly triple than the 40,000 that was reported. Yeah, because you have a city of 28 million on lockdown without supplies, and they're just infecting each other. Okay, because they don't have enough to resolve those who are ill. So in the meantime, while they accept the critically ill patients in the hospitals, there are those that are carriers that are still outside roaming and they are not being given attention to. And in the meantime, they're shedding, that's a period when you are contagious, they're shedding the virus, and well, there you go. Okay, so what has to do with what does that have to do with February energies? So right now we're in a period in our ascension where this is expansion. Expansion is highlighted. So we are at the receiving end of a pure cleansing energy, which is purging out the lower vibration. And that's why this is that's reflected in the current events today, as you can see, because this energy is creating space. And I'll explain that later on. But here right now we're receiving this just think of it as, this white light, and if you breathe from the highest aspect of yourself, you can see yourself breathing out this violet breath, and your crown chakra opening. That's what describes these downloads that we have been receiving, especially the past couple of days. If you track the Schumann resonance, there are solar light flares, which haven't been here for a couple of close to close to a century, and now our planet is receiving solar flares again, which spikes all these electromagnetic energy. And this is all part of the planetary atmospheric calibration, okay? So you have pressure changes, gravitational changes, and this is going to be followed by these new activation energies to anchor in the new grid for the new Earth, okay? And so if you have experienced any lightheadedness, headaches, pressure, dizziness, and yeah, I have. I didn't know. And I thought it was what I couldn't be low blood sugar because my sugar is usually off the charts. And no, that wasn't the case. So I knew it was related to that, and it's it's because you can feel this energy expanding in your bodies. Remember, as light workers, twin flames, we have been creating this space for this energy to come in. That's what the whole last year was about, and the year before that, clearing out all the blocks, making ourselves pure channels, because we're like columns of this new earth, each one of us. Before we were amplifying the signals, we're still doing that, okay? But now, after that call went out, it's like you empty yourself. That's why there was a time wherein light workers seemed to fall off the grid, the communication network, okay, or twin flames, because you needed to empty yourself out. Why? Because now you're going to start receiving again. And this emptying of oneself out was because you cleared most of the blockages, or all, ideally all of the blockages that would hinder you from receiving this very pure cleansing energy that would help create and, anchor in the new earth. Okay? So now, because of this new energy that we are receiving, there could be feelings of being ungrounded, okay? And this is because of, there's gravitational glitches, and sometimes there's instant manifestation. You ask for it, and then it's there. But then again, there's also frequent timeline fluctuations. It's like being in a space wherein you are both in the third dimension and in the fifth dimension, and somewhere in between. Either you lose track of time, or something that was there before wasn't there before. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but it's like living in between the dimensions, where you almost feel like you're outside of time and outside of space. Okay? And this is becoming more common. And if you are not attuned to this happening, you just might miss it. Or you might dismiss it as not being that which it is. Okay? So watch out for that, or at least be observant when it happens to you. That, sometimes you don't know, is this today, is this tomorrow? No, because you're kind of floating between the dimensions in that that bridgeway, and you're outside of time and you're outside of space and you're just existing. And for those who've had what's that, QHTT, quantum therapy, hypnotic therapy, sometimes there's like the pure state of the soul, wherein you're just existing and everything else is swirling around you. And so there are pockets of that happening to us in the recent past, at least in the past month, in between all this trying to catch up with all this, with the punches that January's been giving. Okay, so now we're being hit with very high frequency light, and this is also activating our DNA, and they're getting to our cells getting in between your tissues. And because this new energy is vibrating all those cells and it's moving at an extremely fast rate. And this expands and creates more space. So as more space is created, our consciousness expands, and as more space is created, corollary, there's more space for the downloaded light, for the downloaded energies. So it's like a chicken, and it's like the chicken and the egg, and this needs to be done so that we can create space. The same way that inner planet, because we are assisting the ascension of Earth, all these things, this purging is happening to create the space so that new Earth can emerge. While it is, like other people say, it's going to be an etheric duplicate of our planet. Okay, and we have created that. We have to ground it, right? But this Earth that's in 3D, it's not without effect. This thing, creating that 5D grid of our planet. It's like a carbon copy of this planet. On an etheric level, because this needs to be purged, needs to migrate, needs to integrate all these energies. That's why space is being created here, because you cannot have an etheric double if your double doesn't exist, right? Because this is in this dimension and this is in another dimension. And so space is being created to support the planet now, there. Okay, so very important to be grounded, to help this integrate the energy as it comes. And so this feeling of being outside time and space, they actually have a term for it. It's called acoustic separation. So this going the etheric route, especially this February. We have this February because, as I said, it's expansion. Creating space, expansion. And as we expand, some things have got to go because we have to create space. Okay? And here, because here this February we're closing out really a 30-year cycle since 1991, and whenever you're closing out a cycle, there are emotions that are related to that, and so this brings up all these feelings, all these emotions in an emotional body. And what we have to do is to really let those emotions just pass through. Okay, pass through. And, breathe, pass through, and know that all this is transient, temporary. It shall pass. But it has to get filtered through, especially filtered through twin flames and light workers and starseeds. Okay? It filters through because we are the conduits. Okay? So, now, that's January, it's like purging, and here we have February, and this is expansion, this is creating space, clearing out, because here, as when Mercury retrograde comes, this is a theme for that. It really is renewal and repurposing. Okay, we are repurposing our energy to be able to operate at the highest potential. Okay, aligned with our energies, with our soul's energy priorities. So if you recall, this is a time like when twin flames, they took a break. Okay, but now there's motivation again, because it's like you're being called again to be of service and to really use your being as twin flame in this time in the history of our planet and in your personal lives. So that's the renewal. But the repurposing is that right now, twin flames and light workers need to, it's action and it's contemplation. Need to contemplate and need to act. Okay, because of all these things that are going on, and trying to find a renewed purpose. Okay, so right now in February, it's a time to really review your options. Okay, because in moving forward, and it's a time to process the grief related to disappointments and unmet expectations, so that you may be able to realign with your soul's purpose and then recommit to the ascension path. Okay, what we have been working on, it's really happening on a global level now. Of course, you're going to say it's global warming. We've been burning plastic. Oops. I accidentally turned off the video. We've been like burning plastics and, not monitoring our air levels and all that for years. Of course, there's going to be greenhouse gases, etc., etc. But look, there's no coincidence. It is all aligned, except that the jargon being used is different on a 3D level than what we know to be happening and what is true in the ascension path. But for now, this clearing in order to bring up the new earth, it is happening. Okay, so make no mistake about it. We are in the thick of it. And your personal lives and your relationships are going to be affected, included in this renewal and repurposing that February brings. And if you haven't really passed through the January punch, that's what I'll call it, well, this is what's next on your plate: a renewal and repurposing. Okay, so that's that is the energies that we are facing right now. I know it's kind of long, but I've been away and lots have been happening. So I hope you got something out of that. Now here I laid out a spread. Of course, I prayed over the cards and shuffled them because I wanted to know what message Spirit has for twin flames and in regards to what's going on right now in our planet. So this row is for the divine masculine, this row is for the divine feminine, and this row is for what's going on right now in our planet on a 3D level. Okay, so very quickly, I'll open all the cards for the divine masculine first. We have here the Two of Air, the Three of Fire, and the One of Earth, Ace of Earth. Okay, for the divine feminines, we have the King of Water, we have the Ace of Fire, and we have Perception. Okay, for a planet, we have the Two of Cups, we have the Five of Fire, and we have the Two of Earth. Okay, so look, central to the spread, what's going on and is affecting both divine feminines and divine masculines, we have the Five of Fire. And this is really a fight for dominance. Okay, this is what dog owners know as the red zone, when two dogs really get at each other. So right now there is a fight for dominance, and this relates to what? Holding on to the old, migrating to the new, and there is that push and pull here, and there is a not wanting to let go, not wanting to move forward, but there is a pull that this old stuff cannot, this old way of being cannot sustain us. So that's central to the spread now. And we go to the divine masculines. First, we have the Two of Air, and this is the polarity that the divine masculines were subject to. Some of the divine masculines who are not yet illumined are still basking in that polarity. But for the illumined ones, this is understanding this polarity and knowing that a sacrifice must be made in order for this polarity to be unified. Okay? And then we have here for the divine masculine the Three of Fire. And really, this is moving forward with plans, having plans, envisioning plans to really create this something new for himself. Okay? So here we have making a decision. Okay? Knowing that something has to give. And with fire in his heart. And wanting to move forward, knowing that some sacrifice has to be made in connection with this decision, and in order to establish something that is fresh, that is new, that doesn't have the vestiges of the old. Because, like I said, the old cannot sustain him anymore. Okay? For the divine feminines, here we have the King of Water. And the King of Water, number one, he's the card that represents unconditional love, because this is a marriage of emotions and also logic. Okay, this is being the wise ruler that has compassion for his subjects. And so the divine feminine now wisely wielding her way through whatever is going on now in her personal life and in her surroundings. But then again, we have here the Ace of Fire, because she's using this wisdom, this marriage of heart and mind in order to craft her own destiny. You can see here the Ace of Fire. You can see the fires of creation here, and you can see the Orpheus egg, signifying her beginning. Okay, but then again, there is a spider inside of it, and the spider represents fate. It represents destiny. This is the destiny that you have been creating and co-creating with your twin flame on an energetic level these past few years, months that you have been on the twin flame ascension path. Okay, so this card also means that the time for research planning is over, and it's time now to act on those plans. Okay, because it's ultimately going to help you craft your own destiny that is intertwined with your divine blueprint. Okay, and here for the divine feminine, we have the Perception card. And if you look at this is the only major in the spread. So it's almost like an inside cards, because in this deck they operate like trump cards. So this perception is going to be very important for the divine feminines. How others perceive you, how you perceive others, because that's going to help you make these decisions that will cross over from being something that you have just thought about to something that you're actually living out. Okay, so this is also a reminder for the divine feminine in this case, okay, that from time to time you have to check how others perceive you. It's not enough that that your intentions are good, because that gets negated and that works as a block. if other people don't understand why you are doing such things, why you are, it operates as a block to whatever endeavor you decide to do, to the success of that. So be very aware of perception in such a way that you use perception not to manipulate people, but for broader understanding of the situation so that you can still operate from your heart. If this card didn't appear and this perception card, these just two cards just appeared, I would say this would be a very manipulative beginning, because you would be manipulating other people's perception, because you're just moving forward and playing with their emotions, manipulating it. It's just so that you get what you want. But it is preceded by the King of Water, which means that it's tempered by that. And this play on perception is towards a broader understanding and more cooperation. See, because we have the cooperation card here. So, in terms of our planet here, we have the Two of Cups, which is, this is unity, okay? This is affection. This is oneness, okay? This is one planet. And here you can see that this merging, okay, of all things light, of love, that is what is being opposed at this time, okay? And right now, what twins need to do, and light workers, is to be that bridgeway. You see here the Two of Earth, okay? So this is cooperation. This is like a bridgeway, trying to harmonize these opposing forces, so that these opposing forces, okay, so that there can be one Earth. That's why this is just the Two of Cups. I mean, it's not the Lover's card, and there's also a reason for that, because if you can see here right now at this time in for Twin Flames, this reunion in 3D of the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, it almost has to take a back seat for the meantime, okay, because of these things that we have to do, okay, reconciling this, making sure that the transition of our planet is smooth. And when I say that, I know I talk about the planet a lot, but this really pertains also to your personal lives. What is going on in 3D? Transitions need to be smoothened out, and you are going to be conduits for that. And that's why this reunion may have to take a back seat. At least it plays a minor role. It's there, okay? You can see polarity, union, and here, this understanding, this embrace of the situation now, this being non-judgmental of the Divine Feminine, and really understanding the importance of that this physical union may need to take a minor role, okay, because we're being called to do something else at this time. And here, look at this, in the middle, which here, this is the column of Earth again. Look, fire, 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 okay, fires of creation, because we're creating now the new planet, okay. You have the Three of Fire here, wanting to move forward, forge ahead by the Divine Masculines, while the Divine Feminines really weaving that foundation, that destiny of our planet. And in the meantime, here we have this conflict between the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. But this is really the spark of both of them working together. So working hand in hand, it's like working on adrenaline. okay, right now, doing what they have to do for themselves and for the planet in the meantime. Okay, and here, again, for divine masculines, we have the Ace of Earth. And, wait, hold on. Ace of Earth, okay, which is finally building that which all of us want to build, okay, which is the Earth in 5D, grounding that, and here finally have, this is like our mission order, smoothing out, harmonizing everything that's left behind after the purge, for this new foundation, okay, and here highlighting the importance of perception, how you see this merger, okay, because look, this is like China not wanting aid because they think it's going to be a political concession for them to receive more test kits, receive more masks, receive food for their countrymen, for the people there. So perception really is going to be key for this harmonious beginnings with a new foundation. And so that's what I have here. And I forgot to read these cards. Here. See? We have here the King of Fire. Again, creation. This is the energies, general energies, the reading. To bring down heaven and earth. And this is as above, so below, 5D. And now we have the Eight of Earth, which is growing, nurturing this new earth, okay? And then because here, there's going to be that union, meeting our objectives, and there's going to be healing for everyone. No one's going to be pained anymore, if especially those who are anchored well enough in 5D. Okay, so that's what I have for you now. Sorry this has been long, but I've been away, so, and I had to give you all those updates. Anyway, of course, it is still February, and it is the love month, so I do have several offerings. Right now I'm offering the general love reading, and this is a reading that really tells you your perceptions of love here in the present, and bridges how your past, what's happened in the past, how that bridges to your future and eventually your long-term future. So this is a general reading that is focused on love, okay? And you can find that on my website if you're interested. Okay, and I do have also, as before, I have offered this before, and that is the rapid romance reading, which is really a quick 5-question reading, okay, wherein you get quick answers to guide your journey. Okay, but there are pre-asked questions here, which is, what does she feel about me? How does she view our relationship at present? What does she want from you at present? What action will she take towards you next? And what message does your loved one have for you that he or she can't say yet? So that is the rapid romance reading. I do have a new healing REIKI offering for the month of February, and this is the Fill Your World with Love REIKI, and this is something to do with this spread, and that would be 30 minutes of REIKI with divine codes for love and happiness to overwhelm Gaia, our planet, for divine love to continue helping manifest the new earth, and of course, because we cannot escape our personal lives, to increase the love in your world more than you can imagine, and that even that in itself is very, very helpful for you. So this is Reiki, so, and not a reading like the others. So if you are interested in getting that, please head on to my website, yalalchemy.com. Okay, so that's what I have for you this week. I won't be posting maybe midweek messages. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But for now, this is the information that you need to hear in your stage of the journey. Okay, so happy Valentines, everyone, and love yourself, love your twin flame, love the planet, love your pets. Mine is coughing right now. Okay. So, happy Valentine's, everyone. Sending you lots of love and light. Take care. Bye.